So last week we talked about data manipulation language, and you learned about how to write SQL queries, very simple queries using select a statement. Today, in this lecture, we just expand our exercises, and also hopefully you expand your knowledge on writing SQL queries using multiple tables and also much more complicated queries. That's the aim of today's lecture. What you learned from last week, so you learned that writing a query to retrieve data, every query starts with a select and then followed by a from. So in front of select you have an asterisk. You could have an asterisk that says everything, or you could just list the name of every column, that you want to be displayed. If you want to give a column or an attribute when it is displayed another column name, so you use as and you give it a new name. Next thing is in front of from, you write the name of a table or tables from which these attributes or columns and coming from. Next, you learned fairly easily that if there is a condition, you not only need the select and from, but also you need to use where. With where, you basically list the condition or conditions that you have and you want to impose on the results that's going to be displayed on the screen. So for example, if you're displaying the details of all employees, you select asterisk from employees, where, and then your condition could be the gender is female or position is manager, etc. Or where the city they work is in, the city they come from is London or Canberra. So you can have many conditions applied to the results. So today you will learn more about group by, having an order by. We had one exercise last week on order by, so you can order the results of what's displayed on the screen based on certain columns or certain attributes. You could say select first name, last name from customer, order by last name or order by first name. So when the details of the customer is displayed on the screen, you basically, it will be all ordered. So let's just move on very quickly to what we did last week. This is where we stopped last week. So basically, you learned there are 5 aggregate functions that you can apply in your select statement, in your query: min, max, average, sum, and count. And here is just an example. Give me the minimum, maximum, and average salary of all the staff. So basically select min, minimum of salary, max of salary, and that's the average salary from staff. So basically that gives you minimum, maximum, average wages that you pay to your staff. So remember that min, max, and average apply to a attribute. The attribute is the wages that you pay to the people. Let's move on to the next one. Find the number of staff in each branch. And this is very important, that you have to learn what happens here, because this is the first time you encounter group by. So here we want to find out for each branch the group, one or more staff that may be working over there, the group. So basically what we're working on is we are displaying one attribute followed a grouping of a row of table. So here is the branch number is one attribute, and then we want to know the total number of staff that work in that branch. So that's it. For each branch number, group together, count the number of staff that work there, and display that. This is what group by is. Group by groups a set of rows. In here, what we're grouping by is the number of staff. So we go through the staff table, we count the staff based on each branch number. So we group them together and find out how many staff work in each branch, and we display. So the group by, it does perform certain grouping. What appears in front of group by is one of the attributes that you're grouping. And that appears also in front of your select. So here, you've got select branch number. That means it shows the branch number. And then the next item is the total number of staff in each branch. So you're counting the number of staff. So for each branch number, you're counting the number of staff that work in that branch. So what appears in front of the group by is what you're grouping and counting here. And it appears also in the selected statement. So the attribute that you're grouping by appears in the front of the select and in front of group by, in front of select and in front of the group by. So for each branch, we're grouping the staff numbers or the staff that work there. So the answer would be, in this case, branch B001, 20 people, branch B002, 5 people, etc. So now if you're having a condition that you want to apply to a group, you don't use where. When you're using group by and you have a condition that you want to apply to the group of rows that you're using, you use having, and having basically applies a filter or a condition that you want to apply to a group of rows. So you don't use where with group by, you use having. Fairly easy. That's something that you have to remember. Here it's another example. Same example as you saw before with one condition. In the last example we told you display for each branch number, display the number of staff that work there. Here we're saying for each branch that has got more than one person working in that branch, display the number of staff. So the condition here is having more than one staff member. So basically, same situation, select branch number, count the number of staff for each branch number from the table staff, group by branch. So for each branch, show me the number of staff that work there. And the condition is having count staff numbers more than one. So when you're counting the staff number for each branch, if it is more than one, greater than one, display that on the screen. This is actually as difficult as it gets. With SQL query, of course, we've got some other complications, but with having and group by, I'll put in a couple of examples for you when you come back from holidays in week 9. So next week, you just take it easy, review the materials. We'll do exercises on group by and having in your tutorial.